facilities come in all different sizes. And so one of the most important things to conduct is a physical security risk assessment. And this basically, as you look at different facilities, and the first step in this process is really want to define the scope and the objectives of the assessment. What are the boundaries, the limitations of the facilities, and most importantly, what are the critical assets and functions that need to be protected. We need to define that, and if there's any type of security standards or regulations that apply to a particular facility. So that's basically step one. I'm going to go through this quickly, but these are kind of the main steps. Step two is to identify threats and vulnerabilities that ultimately could compromise the security at the facility. Threats, tend to fall in more in terms of like natural disasters and cyber attacks and terrorism, things of that sort. But particularly on the vulnerabilities side, what are the weaknesses and within the physical security elements that are within the facility, such as access control. So, to identify, what are those threats. But then the third step in this process is to analyze those risks and the impacts of those threats and vulnerabilities. What's the impact, as far as the risk, what's the likelihood that, a threat might be exploited with a vulnerability, and for the impact, is there a potential damage or loss that could be the result of an attack? So identifying those, but then when you get into step four, typically a facility is already going to have certain security measures that are in place. So to identify those, and really the point of this is not only what they have, but to see where those gaps are and, see what kind of steps might be necessary to take in order to minimize those. And that's really step five, is you come up with, the recommendations for improvement actions. If you've got certain, as an example with Essex products, certain card readers that are at a facility, or even keypads that are not functioning well, maybe it is a harsh environment, and looking for something that's going to hold up. If it's a vandal-prone area, typical card readers that are they're traditionally made out of plastic. So if it's a vandal-prone area, maybe they're being damaged, basically to go through and to come up with these improvement actions. And then the sixth and final step is the documentation and communicating the results of your assessment, to the shareholders, stakeholders within the facility.
If you want to learn more about Essex Electronics, scan the QR code down below. We have multiple web links loaded in there. Essex products on Grainger.com, their website, social media accounts, and whatnot. So it's a great way for you to be able to learn more about Essex. And also, while you're at it, subscribe to the Rowe-Thrush YouTube channel, as well as the Essex Electronics YouTube channel. We would love to get your subscriptions to those channels.